welcome to the House of ZK Radio, which is a focused podcast and media channel exploring everything ZK, zero knowledge. I'm Alice, education lead at ZKM. Today I'm joined here with co-host Pavel, who is DevRel lead at ZKM, and our guest, Kevin, who is co-founder of BitLayer. So thank you so much for being here today, Kevin. We're very excited to have you.
Great to meet you. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you. I'm wondering, Kevin, if you can first start off with an introduction of yourself. So very curious to hear how you got involved into the Web3 and then also the Bitcoin and ZK spaces.
Yeah, thank you. I joined the industry in 2016 and 17. And from day one, I'm building L1 and L2s. Totally, actually, I have launched several EVM compatible chains and 2 ZK rollup for Ethereum and 1 MPC platform for the Hong Kong listed company. And previously, I worked for Huobi Group, which is the largest centralized exchange in the world in 2020, and built Huobi ecosystem chain, aka Hacko, in late 2020 with 4 million transactions a day and for $14 billion TVL. And after that, actually have been helping ABCDE Capital, which is kind of leading crypto VC in Asia. And so we think Bitcoin ecosystem is a good way to start to build something new. And we start BitLayer. And when talking about ZK, actually, I have been involved in this space in 2021, when at that time it's really early stage of the field. We're trying to use very early time a lot of tools that is at a very early stage to build a DEX using based on the ZK Sync 1.0 code and open source tool chains to build a DEX, and then we try to build a perp. So at that time we did a lot of things on handwriting circuits and do the system and integrations. This is why I started to learn ZK and to become kind of engineers of ZK at that time. And things actually, I think this space is evolving really fast. After 2 years or 3 years, the engineering and the tooling and the proof system actually is really, I think it's really major now than the days of in 2021. Yeah, I think it's just a ZK space is getting better and better, and maybe in some time, and maybe we can have a very good application in a very near time. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And it's very impressive that you previously launched several like EVM compatible chains and also ZK rollups, and you got involved on the VC side as well, and then also building the DEX like what you just mentioned. So all very impressive. And yeah, I definitely agree that there are quite a lot of developments happening on the ZK side right now, and there's only more to come in the future. So we're in a very exciting time. Curious to hear about also your thoughts with the evolution of the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. So how do you see it evolving in the next few years, and what do you see ZK's role in it?
Yeah, for us, when we decide to build on Bitcoin ecosystem, the rationale is really simple. First, there is a huge liquidity, and second, it's a free space, and nobody to dictate anything, and it's a really free space to develop. Third is we get chance to make something new, which is on-chain verification or on-chain validation. Without any changes of the protocol. This is why we started this journey. And when talking about ZK, we all know that Bitcoin has a very limited script language, and it is not realistic to make it improve or involve to a Turing complete one. So it's not easy to verify directly any computation actually. So to verify ZK proof may be the final decision of a final solution to make Bitcoin to expand Bitcoin's ability or capability. So this is how I see Bitcoin, ZK's role in Bitcoin ecosystem, and this is why we, for now, get a lot of energy efforts on ZK using Bitcoin script to write ZK verifier and get some innovation in STARKs. This is the reason.
Mm-hmm. Like using ZK to enable for some on-chain verification without having to change the underlying protocol.
Yeah.
Got it. Mm-hmm. And also interested to hear your thoughts about some of the other kinds of scaling solutions that we're currently seeing this space, and the challenges that are associated with those. Like, for example, with sidechains, with state channels, and why specifically you chose to build a Bitcoin layer 2.
Yeah. When we decided to start BitLayer, actually, I have been doing the IC meeting and DD meeting for ABCD Capital. Actually, most of the new Bitcoin Layer 2 projects in the market for now, like Merlin Chain, B Squared, and others, and even Arc Network, actually have Arch. Actually, I have been doing the DD meeting. I know how they works, and we have done a lot of research in the space at that last year this time, and finally we figure out two things. First, there is a trade-off. Actually, when we talking about the scaling, there kind of scaling of Bitcoin, there's kind of two methods. First, verify off-chain. That's something like the Ordinals and the Arc Network, something like that. They verify off-chain because they think that on-chain we cannot do any verification. And another way is try to build on-chain verification, which actually we have been educated for years from Ethereum's experience of building layer 2s. So we think on-chain verification, even though it's very hard, very difficult, but it's easy to understand for the people. We don't need to educate we need to educate the user and the market. So this is why we choose to build via on-chain verification and to build flow proof with ZK and try to build validity proof if we're lucky to have upgrades. And the second thing to talk about is actually there is a trade-off between Bitcoin security and Turing completeness. Like you mentioned, sidechains and stake channels. Actually, they just have to make the trade-off. Sidechain has VM support, have really good language to write application, but they actually did not inherit any security from Bitcoin. And when we're talking about channels, it's only have very limited use cases like payments. Even they cannot support the stablecoin for now. So there is a trade-off here. We think by doing the on-chain verification, we can solve this kind of trade-off because we can evolve into the low-up model, and we can support multiple VMs off-chain, and then verify state transition off on-chain. This is why we think this is how we see the very beginning in our to see the Bitcoin scaling solution. To summarize, as there's two ways to scale: the off-chain verification or on-chain verification. We choose the latter one because it's easy to understand. And second, by using the on-chain verification, actually we can solve the trade-off between Bitcoin security and tooling completeness. Yeah.
You mentioned that you're using both fraud proofs and validity proofs within your technology. Can you describe how you're using each and for which specific purpose? Why use two different systems?
Sure. Actually, we think we need a future-proof solution for this, for the on-chain verification. For now, without any changes, we can do fraud-proof. Actually, BitVM is a fraud-proof, and if we're lucky to have, but fraud-proof, as we know, actually have been educated for years, do have some kind of limitations. So if we're lucky to have opcats or other CTV or maybe CCTV or OP hash, OP TX hash, we will be able to do the validated proof directly verified the ZK proof using Bitcoin script. So do not need any challenging times and others. So this is, we think, this is why we actually invest engineering efforts both on fraud-proof BitVM for now and validity proof for the future.
Got it. Thank you. And I know that you're using this kind of a dual proof architecture, so both the fraud proof and validity proof within your verification layer, what you're currently developing with OPVM. Very interested to hear on the OPVM side, what kinds of use cases will you do you imagine it will enable?
Yeah. OPVM, actually, we would like to be make it a future-proof verification layer, as I mentioned, because of the limitation of fraud-proof, and maybe we can lucky to have Bitcoin upgrades. And this is the first point. And second, when we see actually OpenStack have made a great success in the market, and but I think only the code is not enough. Open source of code is not enough. If people just want to build application, they actually forking a code and set up a standalone whole stack. Actually, I think maybe it's not suitable for everybody, for every developers. So to make it a generous API-based service will be much easier and alternative for the developers. If people just want to build a CDP-based stablecoin, he just focus on his business logic and use our API service to verify things on Bitcoin and trigger specific actions like the clearing and the others. That's all. So this is why we think API-based service maybe is better and more suitable for the developers. And this is why we build OPVM together with the open source code and API-based service.
Got it. And those really help contribute to the developer experience as well.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And on the topic of Bitcoin upgrades, which you previously mentioned for a bit, I know that you guys, the team, recently came out with an article about like the sentiment and also the trends of prior Bitcoin upgrades. So I'm wondering if you can speak about some of the patterns that you've seen with prior upgrades and how we can apply them to future future upgrades or like approaching future upgrades. And there are also quite a few people in the community who are against having these upgrades or having them being rolled out too quickly. So wondering if you could also speak on the perspective of, or like the reasoning behind both sides as well.
Sure. Yeah, I like this topic, and the reason we do this upgrade report is there's actually a lot of misunderstanding about upgrade in the market, and there are a lot of marketing overclaims or bluffing in the market. So, and I think these voices is not good for the consensus we get to push forward a real upgrade in the coming 1 or 2 years. And we actually heard a lot of voices from specific upcodes, and but the actual things in different, but there are actually a lot of maybe over seven kind of stakeholders in the community, and the things to solve by upgrade. And there are actually multiple multiple issues to solve, and a lot of solutions to address these kind of issues. So this is why we decide to make this report, and there are some interesting things to take away. And first, when talking about some candidates you mentioned or some patterns you mentioned, I like to talk about some focus of area of the upgrade. Scaling is definitely is one of the very key objective to bring an upgrade, but from the perspective of the developers, protocol developer, which is we actually can mention the Bitcoin core developers, they like to focus on the security, privacy, and the programmability. So things is really different among these ideas, opinions is really different among different group of people, and the stakeholders there's actually we can in the report we divide it, or we summarize that there are about 6 group, including the protocol developers, the Bitcoin core developers, and the Bitcoin ecosystem builders like us, and they're actually investors, influencers, and economic nodes, which is something like the centralized exchange and the custody platforms. And actually, things are really different. The ecosystem developers try to is actively try to motivate and upgrade, because with that upgrade we can do more, and but the holders or the investors and some of the economic builders and the miners, actually they are really conservative, and some people they call themselves steady and slow and diversification, something like that. They think it should be really careful to the former one think is really careful to take an upgrade. It should take maybe dozens of years, maybe 10 years to discuss and to carry out to make it happen. And the diversification guys think if there's no attack surface like the quantum threats, there's not people should not take any changes to the protocol. And so there's a lot of voices here in the market, and according to actually, and also besides the facts the facts I describe a lot of facts I describe in the report, and I also express some opinions from my view, or from the developers ecosystem developer perspective. And the main reason for now we cannot get an upgrade for now is there's no emergency cases here, because we actually have a lot of blockchain and super high performance blockchain in the market, and the scaling need or demand for Bitcoin itself is not so strong. But maybe the things can change after more institution or user to enter this market. If people want to earn more yield in a decentralized environments, things may be going to change, and also after a series of halving, maybe this is the real problem we need to solve to face, how to protect the security of Bitcoin network. That maybe some kind of emergency we need to solve, and make alignment to solve this kind of problem during through the upgrade. Yeah.
I see. So there's kind of like diverging opinions depending on the focuses of these of the community. Like for example, you mentioned that the developers, ecosystem developers, they want to develop more, so they're more pro upgrade. But for some others, like miners and holders and the economic builders, they're more hesitant, more conservative to have these upgrades being rolled out so quickly. And like even within there, you mentioned that there's some diverging opinions of what should be like prioritized first, scaling versus the security or programmability side. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Kevin. All very insightful.
Yeah,
Also,
I'd love to share
wanted to hear
this topic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Also wanted to hear about since BitLayer very heavily uses BitVM. I'm wondering if you can tell our audience about some of the advantages that BitVM provides, and what part of the BitVM stack is currently being utilized by BitLayer.
Cool. When we actually I have described the off-scaling solution. We can categorize it into two way: the off-chain verification and on-chain verification. And BigVM falls into the on-chain verification, which also is a fraud-proof. When talking about these words, actually, it's some kind of marketing words. It's not so secure, not so accurate. But the real improvement for BigVM is the improvement for security model. We can say a lot of words, good words, but the security model cannot be modified or is clear. It is for now without any changes. It is one of and trust. It's one of one trust assumption, and previously the other solution like TBDCs and others actually is TFN, which means it's a differences in the security model. BigVM can achieve minority honest, and the others can only achieve the majority honest. So this is really different. And if we be lucky to have the upgrades, we can achieve trustless. Yeah, this is how the facts how the facts is. And when talking about BigVM stack, actually it is really it's not a simple, not very simple stack, because it contains firstly contains off-chain part and on-chain part. Off-chain part, and so it's a fraud proof. We need to verify things. We need to have some kind of off-chain computation and get a proof and send it to the to Bitcoin on chain and waiting for the challenge. So we are not challenging for now. BitVM is not challenging the arbitrary computation. We challenge the process of verifying. So we need to write ZK verifier and with its input to send it on chain. This is off-chain part and on-chain part. And when speaking about the roles in this model, we can separate into several roles. First is about the prover, which is responsible to get the proving and send it to get deposit and send to them to on chain. And there's a verifier which will be monitoring the whole system, and if we get some fraud happen, if found some fraud and initiate a challenge, we call it verifier. And also, and third is we call it operator, which because we do not have smart contract in Bitcoin, and also we need to lock the user's fund or user's asset Bitcoin into a common account, a common address. So for now, we need a huge level of the multi-sig, which is one of n trust model, which actually I have mentioned before. The one of n is live from here, this is three parts of the roles in the BitVM stack.
Got it. Thank you. And also wanted to go back and speak a bit more about the developer experience and BitVM's role in helping to contribute to that developer experience. So you mentioned before some of the other ways in which BitLayer and then also OPVM can help with the experience, but also curious to hear about your perspective on how BitLayer's use of BitVM can contribute to the overall experience. Like, for example, I know that you guys are also like EVM compatible, so developers can also use like current available tooling out there when they're building. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on the overall contribution towards the developer experience.
Yeah, thank you for this question, and because I actually missing something to clarify the whole architect of BitLayer, and with the fraud proof, or aka the BitVM, we can build load up. It will be when talking about load up, we know that there is a sequencer here off chain, and the sequencer actually can support multiple various of VMs, including EVM. We think EVM has the most popularity, so we support EVM first, and this will provide the almost actually the same experience for the developers. Developers can be easy to migrate the existing project from the existing code to BitLayer. And BitVM here is used as challenging and commitment and challenging components for the load up. And I think this maybe people have some kind of misunderstanding about BitVM at the very first place. For now, BitVM is act as the verification or validation components, and most of the users or developers will not interact with BitVM itself. The dirty work is on BitLayer's infra team. We implement this and provide familiar, popular environments for users and developers to interact, and something like people building ZK rollup at the early stage and OP rollup in the early stage, something really similar.
Got it. So developers here on BitLayer won't have to interact with BitVM itself, but instead you guys can provide an almost identical experience to them, and they can use like existing tools that they're already familiar with and
Yeah.
like popular environments as well. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, great. And also curious to hear more about some of the thinking and the approach behind the design considerations of BitLayer's current architecture and how that compares to other Bitcoin layer 2s in the space.
Yeah. At the very beginning, we try to solve the trade-off I mentioned. It's Bitcoin security and tooling completeness, and also we think educating the market is a difficult job. So we choose on-chain, on-chain validation and BitVM paradigms at the early stage, and so we can achieve big EVM compatible sequencer, and using BitVM we can verify things, we state transition on chain, and for when talking about the security, we're talking about the landscape of this ecosystem or the competitors. I think we are the only one team have very strong research and engineering efforts and strengths, and also we have very strong operation strengths, because we think for now the whole crypto space or the blockchain space is not at its really early stage. Like Ethereum, you just deliver something and people will come to use. No, things are really different for now, and we need to adopt more sophisticated operation methods to boost the whole to boost the ecosystem, because there are so many L1 and L2s in the market, and this is why at the very beginning we decided to launch V1, which actually is a sidechain, to test the PMF and to find the business model, and to get our to train our operation team, and of course we actually get a lot of tractions during this journey, and yeah, I think this the strength in both in research, which we talk a lot on the Big VM side and the V2 side, and also the operation strength, both simultaneously in these two parts is our uniqueness.
In terms of so currently you do have a proof of stake model, and the plan is to transition that into the ability to verify directly on Bitcoin. Do you see that the change of this, the adaptation of this, what you're working on, will lead to the developer experience changing as a result? So the transition from the Bitcoin, the POS network to more of the verifiable on L1. Do you see that being impactful to the developer experience, or will the developer know that the change has occurred?
Yeah. At the very beginning, we have been doing the research about this topic, and it's really important. And we will make it seamlessly and painless transition during the V1 and V2 in next year Q1, and this is feasible, and we have actually tested a lot internally, and the user and developer will. Maybe their experience is something like the merge from like the Ethereum's POS transition. If you're not, they just know that happened, and we did not need to do too much things, and it will be seamlessly and painless transition. But behind this, actually, there's a lot of engineering work, including the transition of the data, and and because the lower model, we need to execute things, execute execute the contract in a ZKVM, then we can generate a proof. The ZKVM is actually different from the security we use for now. It's totally different. But the lucky thing is we have done a lot of research and testing about this, and it's feasible, and we have found the solution to do this steady, and we think that it will happen in Q1.
Okay, great, thank you. Just Q1, just a couple of months from now, so very very soon. Nice. Yeah, many developments to look forward to.
Sure.
I also wanted to also touch on the topic of BitLayer's contributions to BitVM, which you guys had quite a few. And one of the recent ones I saw was optimizing for BitVM's developed STARK verifiers. So I was curious to hear about your guys' approach to doing this, and then also some of the implications for minimizing the verifier script and what that brings.
Yeah. BitVM is a really good model, and for now, people focus on verify the ZK proof on chain using commitment and challenging modes. So when we want to put the BitVM into production model, the cost is the key part. Because for now, we will touch the things, the differences between ZK verifier on Bitcoin and Ethereum is totally different. For now, we have to use Bitcoin script to implement the ZK verifier. And the problem is, for now, and we know, SNARK verifier, we need the pairing operations, and the pairing operation need the big int arithmetics, but Bitcoin script do not have this kind of built-in opcodes. We have to use the very primitive Bitcoin script to simulate the multiplying operation of big int. Then we can do the pairing of the SNARK the verifier. This leads to a huge size for the verifier using Bitcoin script. There will be, actually, people are trying to reduce the size of it, and for now, this is the effort, the key efforts people doing on the script size, and for now it is 100 of megabytes for now. So this is, and also because Bitcoin have very limited block size, at most for now people can fit in about 4 megabytes into a block, but it is not feasible to actually occupy the whole block of the Bitcoin block. So we have to chunk the scripts verifier into different parts, and like less than 1 megabytes. This is why we think this is why we develop the chunker, the automatic chunker and the manual chunker, and so this is the key part from BitVM, and we adopt several methods to improve this, including using the new algorithms of MSN to lower the on-chain to lower the script size by about 20%, and also we contribute the automatic and the manual chunkers for BitVM implementation, and if you make it if you make it practical to do these things on the production environment.
And it's very interesting to hear about the chunkers that you use to try to split into those smaller chunks, and how you have both the automatic and the manual options from there. And then you also mentioned about utilizing like certain algorithms like the MSM to lower the overall script size. So yeah, thank you. Very interesting to hear about the thinking behind the approach for trying to lower the script size. And also curious to hear about your utilization of the BF STARKs as well. So very curious to hear the overall approach that BitLayer took in designing the ZKP verifier on Bitcoin to be more hash-based, and in doing so specifically using BF STARKs. Curious to also hear about like a comparison of how BF STARKs compared to some other STARKs, or for example, some other kinds of proof systems like with Groth 16.
Yeah, sure. At the very beginning, we try to build something new. So people in the community try to build Flunk and Group 16, but some team members of our BitLayer research team think, why don't we build a Stark verifier? Because all we know, Stark verifier is hash based, and it's really simple, and also it has advantage of so it's simple means we have this advantage on the script size, and we lower the cost, and also there's no trust setup here. Why not we do this? And people and some researchers began the research, and the key part is people cannot do this before is there's no opcode to concat the input and make the hash. So there's some experiments build post opcats, like the Starkwares team and the Bitcoin Wildlife team, actually Weiken Chen. But we think when talking about Merkle tree, Stark verifier is about a Merkle tree and the hash. When talking about this, we figure out Bitcoin has its built-in ability, built-in capability of MAST tree after taproot upgrades. So we have why not we just leverage this built-in technology, and after experiment things work, and if you we actually going to open source. I think it's already open source, but we do not get too much. For now, we are co-writing a paper about this, and doing the review, the peer review in the community, and to demonstrate things is different and better than the Snap verifier. And to conclude, we can build Snap verifier without opcat. We can do this. And second, Snap verifier Stack verifier has advantage in the script size, which is crucial in the cost spanning, and also it has no trust setup and a lot of advantage. So this is why we develop. We call it Bitcoin-friendly STARK, and it's a framework. We also try to make it future-proof, pre-upgrade and post-upgrade. And pre-upgrade we can make it, post-upgrade we can make it more efficient and cost less. And so we also very active members that advocate some kind of upgrades. This is our work on BF STARK.
Got it. So there's some advantages, or like a lot of advantages that the Bitcoin-friendly version of the STARK provides. Like, for example, no trusted setup, and then it can also be built without the opcat. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Kevin. And in terms of other areas of the BitLayer stack, I also wanted to touch on your guys' plan for the real-time EVM. Very curious to hear about the reasoning behind developing this and some of the implications that you see for supporting real-time compatibility with EVM.
Sure. Before we decide to develop the real-time EVM, there's a lot of some reasons to drive us to this way, and we decide to build a BTC-Fi business in our ecosystem, focus on the different demands for the Bitcoin liquidity providers, like the yielding demands and the risk management and liquidity, and then also the diversification of their portfolios. So this is a nature demand for the Bitcoin holders, including the retail user and institution clients. But we think we can see in the market for now, if people want to earn yield, they have to do the CD-Fi. Why? When talking about CD-Fi, actually it is people put their collect the assets on chain and then mirror it into Binance to do the arbitrage and do the fund fees, to earn the fund fees of the perp trading, all kind of policy of the trading policy to earn yield. And this is only one way for now to provide a stable yield for the Bitcoin holders. We kind of think why people have to do the CD-Fi. The reason is, of course, Binance have the best liquidity and best products to interact with, and also they provide a high performance in environment for the traders to interact with the market. And what if this happened on chain? So the high performance and real time execution environment is the crucial part. This is why we will invest engineering and research efforts on the real-time EVM, and also our team, which is from Alibaba blockchain core team. So we have built this before, and there are actually no magic and no moon. There's no moon tag here. It's really simple. It's because doing things asynchronized, like the optimistic parallel execution, and to modify the single thread execution model, and also when solving the problem execution, the storage is the key part, and we have a storage experts in our team, and the database. So the things is really ready. The technology is really ready for our team. So this is why the reason we will move to the real-time EVM in the next. To conclude, is the market demand, and second is our expertise.
Got it. And scoping out a bit, also wondering if you can speak about some of the long-term goals for development on BitLayer and how you see it evolving in the next couple of years. And then also if you want to mention any sort of announcements that you have in the near term, yeah, that would be great as well. So both in the short term, any announcements that you have, but then also what you see in the long term for BitLayer.
Yeah, the goal for BitLayer is to provide to make sure BTC-Fi happen on chain. So we are going to we will ensure to provide a trustless, high performance and programmable environment for Bitcoin liquidity and its derivative assets. This actually contains several parts, several infra to build. First is the on-chain verification components, including BitVM and the future-proof LPVM. And the next is about the real-time EVM. These components we will finish, I think, in 2025 we can finish most of them, and the rest, and in the coming years, I think we will keep improving the whole stack and to open source and also provide API-based service to the community to help the developers like the CDP community, the CDP builders, and the lending protocol developers and the staking protocol developers to leverage the whole stack and API-based service to build more native Bitcoin applications.
Got it. That all sounds very great and very exciting. But yeah, Kevin, just wanted to thank you so much for joining us for the podcast. Really enjoyed hearing about all of your perspectives from the reasoning behind focusing on-chain verification, and then some of the architectural design considerations that you and the team had to consider and just navigating through those trade-offs, and then also your perspectives on the upgrades as well. It was all very insightful, so very much appreciate you for being with us today.
Yeah, again, thanks for the invitation, and you guys are doing a really good job in the community and to boost the ZK technology and its applications. And we can see a lot of efforts in the questions and topics, and we wish to work with you guys together in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.